Olivia, the daughter of OP, is set out to ruin her grandmother's wedding, the biggest day of her life. Why would she do that, you ask? All for views on social media. She's trying to be the next big thing, so she wants to ruin her grandmother's special day just so everyone can laugh. I, 47 female, am married to James. We have 2 children. My daughter Olivia is 21 years of age, and my son Seth is 19. They're very different in personalities and temperament, and this has caused a lot of problems over the years. Mainly because of Olivia. When she was little, Olivia was lovely, kind, and considerate. She would spend hours helping me and her grandmother, Amelia, with baking, and she begged Amelia to teach her how to sew and be creative. Seth was always much more reserved, and he would lose himself for hours in comics when he was younger, and as he grew older, he became really interested in manga, anime, and fantasy books. As they got older and their interest in friend groups led to a big divide between my 2 children, they became almost like strangers to each other. Olivia was always very outgoing and had a large group of friends, but she did not really have close friends, just people she hung out with. They would argue all the time, and I could not keep up with who she was friends with from day to day. Seth had a much smaller circle of friends, but they were extremely close, and the friends he made when he started high school have remained his friends all the way up to him preparing for university. They hang out most days, either in person or over the gaming console online. They also meet weekly in our basement to play some fantasy board game, which I don't understand, but involves a lot of magic and fighting. Seth is very content and is not a trouble at all. When Olivia hit puberty, her whole personality changed. Gone was the cute young girl who liked to hang out with me and my mother, and in that girl's place was a sadistic, sarcastic, angry, often nasty young woman. She was at times downright cruel. In her early teens, Seth and his friends would get the worst of it. She would call them losers and say things such as they would never get a girlfriend. As she got older, she convinced us to let her open her own social media pages, and from there she discovered groups of people who were called influencers. The only thing a lot of them seem to be influencing is awful behavior, and being horrible to other people. When she was 18, Olivia decided she was going to become an influencer in her own right. I didn't know what she was doing until she had been releasing material for nearly a year. She was very sneaky and used an alias online. We've always given our kids privacy, as I never wanted to be one of those parents who snooped into every part of their life. I really wish I would have paid more attention, as Olivia became a person I didn't even recognize anymore. And if I'm honest, a person I did not like a lot. It came out to our attention that Olivia was being nasty on her account, with a rumor spread around Seth's school about him and his friends. Olivia had been secretly recording them and doing videos about her brother and his loser friends in our basement. She was downright cruel. She took great delight in making fun of them for their interest, and from their responses I read from her fans, as a lot of people agreed with her. I know when I was at school that people would bully others and that they thought were nerds, but this was something else. It was downright nasty. Seth managed to find Olivia's site after a guy at school sent him a link, and from there my husband and I found out what she was doing. We were angry and told her to stop it. We were not a family that spent time being cruel to each other. Olivia rolled her eyes and said, "Whatever, boomer," and ignored us. I'm 47 years old. I'm not a boomer, and contrary to what she seems to think, I'm well aware of what one is and how it's considered an insult. I talked to my husband, and we realized that there was little that we could do to shut down the accounts, as she has grown. But we did, after threatening to take her car and allowance, just to get her to promise she would stop with the nasty abuse. She agreed, and from that point on, her account was nicer. It was still not great, but it was better. Of course, the benefit of the internet means you can have more than one account, and so she began to run her influencing over 2 accounts, keeping the mild stuff to one that we knew about, and I should have looked into it more, but I was so busy with work and dealing with life that I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, and Seth did not complain again. I thought it was better, but she was just being more careful to not make videos and posts that we could link to ourselves. She's always been a sneaky child. When I was 19, Amelia met her boyfriend Aaron, and they would spend all their time together. Aaron was 23. He was also an influencer, and we would also laugh as we watched them staging photos to show a better life than they actually had. My mother, Amelia, lives very close to us. She's a widow, and my father died about 10 years ago, when she was 60 years of age. Olivia was 11 and Seth was 9. As my parents had always lived close by, it was a traumatic time for all of us. Seth was very close to my dad, and my dad always encouraged his love of fantasy and books. Olivia was closer to my mother. For 10 years since my dad passed away, my mom has helped us with the child care, and even when the kids were too old to need a babysitter, she'd still visit us a few times a week. I always worried that she'd be lonely, but she said that looking after her grandchildren was everything she needed. As the kids are now basically adults, I encourage her to try and get more of a social life. My mom's not a typical grandma. She's always been young for her age, and she dresses in quite an eccentric way. As she loves growing plants and trapezing around garden centers, which Olivia also used to love. After a bit of nagging on my part, my mom joined a social group of people who were on their own, but wanted to spend time with people their age. At first, my mom would laugh and say that she hates being surrounded by old people, even though they're the same age as her. Olivia would do her customary eye roll at this and say things like, "You're so old. You're like almost dead, Grandma." I'd be angry, but my mom would just laugh and say, "Huh. Not yet, young lady. There's life left in this old goose." My mom always knew how to deal with Olivia's rude outburst. She'd either agree with the insults about herself or make fun of Olivia right back. She's the only person I've ever met who could give as good as she got when it came to Olivia. Then my mom. She met Frederick. He's a 70-year-old male, and it was like someone lit a light behind her eyes. She would insist that they were just friends, but it was obvious that she liked him, a lot. They shared a lot of similar interests, and Frederick was a dapper dresser, so they suited each other. They would spend time going to the garden centers, parks, walking around antique centers. After some time, my mom announced that Frederick was now her boyfriend, and I was so happy for her. Not long after that, Frederick proposed to my mother, and she was hesitant to accept it as she was worried I could think she was betraying father. Frederick told her he understood and talked to us first. I told her she should accept this proposal as Dad would love for her to be happy. We were all happy for her, or so I thought. Olivia did not take it well as she had a complete shouting fit about how her grandma was betraying grandfather. It was very over the top, and it was only later that I realized that Aaron was recording her outbreak. As soon as I noticed, I demanded that they delete the footage. Olivia just got angry again and said, yelling, "Free speech! Free speech!" I told her that our family's off limits to free speech for her online life. And if I saw that video appear online, there's going to be sharp consequences. Aaron seemed to realize I was serious and said, "Yes, ma'am, it's being deleted." Olivia was still angry, but after disappearing to her room with Aaron, she calmed down and came back to apologize to her grandmother. I'm not sure if I've handled it well. Should I be controlling what my daughter uses for her social media, or am I just being a controlling mom? Any parents out there who can help me out with how to deal with her and tell her being an influencer is not a career path. I'm so worried that she'll ruin not only her life, but the family's reputation. Update number 1. Firstly, thank you all for the advice I've received, and as suggested, I've looked deeper into influencers. I've sat down and had a good conversation with Olivia. She explained her feelings, and I think we've come to an agreement. I'll support her in her career if she promises not to use footage of the family in a negative way, and if any videos do have family in them, we're able to see them before they go online. She agreed, and everything sorted itself out. My mom's now happy now that she has accepted Frederick's offer of marriage, and we're all looking forward to the wedding. She's asked Seth to walk her down the aisle and Olivia to be her bridesmaid. Olivia has been much more keen to help out with the planning, and it feels more like the old days when she was younger. We had a trip out to celebrate my mom and Frederick's engagement, and Aaron proposed to Olivia on the beach. It was a surprise as they are both still very young, but he said that he was inspired by my mom and Frederick, and just wanted to show Amelia that he wanted to be with her forever. Of course, it was all very staged and filmed, and Amelia released it on her social. I told her that she must not upstage her grandmother and not rush in the actual marriage. Olivia said she was not going to. All in all, things are really looking good right now, and I'm hopeful that Olivia has realized the harm she could cause with her online presence, and that she'll now work to be a positive influence on others. Update number 2. I'm not sure when I began to get suspicious about Olivia, but I have this strange nagging feeling that she's planning something, and I'm not sure that it's something positive. I really hope that I'm wrong, but there's something off about the way she said, and, well, her and Aaron are just acting funny. After things settled down, Olivia showed us her newly improved social media, and it was full of positive things, including Aaron's proposal. I was so happy to see that she seemed nicer and much less cruel. She asked me if I thought her grandmother and Frederick would all allow her to document their wedding, from the preparation to the wedding day. I said I wasn't sure it was a good idea, as I was not sure that they would want the whole wide world to be involved. And why would the young people who followed Olivia want to watch a family wedding? Olivia said that she thought about it and she realized that she's been wrong about how gross it was for old people to be in love. She said that it was just something she said because she missed her grandfather and was worried her grandmother was replacing him. I said I would talk to grandmother and see what she said. I was not expecting my mom to be as excited about the idea as she actually was. As I said, my mom and Frederick are very vibrant old people. They spoke to Olivia and plans for it to be put for place for Olivia and Aaron to take photos and videos for Olivia's social media. I said I wanted to see them first, but Olivia got annoyed and said she was hurt that I would never trust her. She said it felt like I hated her, and she started to get really upset, and my mom gave her a hug and said that she trusted her and would be happy with whatever Olivia decides to do. I was totally overruled, and this is why I'm worried, because as they hugged, I'm pretty sure I saw Olivia wink and smile at Aaron over her grandmother's shoulder. It was so quick, and I may have been wrong. I really do hope that I'm wrong, because it'll break my heart if Olivia does anything to spoil her wedding. I'm going to keep an eye on Olivia and try to make sure nothing happens. Update number 3. We're almost ready for the big day. Everything's booked and paid for, and we're really excited to see Mom and Frederick get married. Olivia has been recording the preparation. From what I can see has been all really normal. To be honest, I don't really see why people would want to watch the things she's recording. I mean, how do you influence young people with videos of people taste testing cakes for a wedding or trying on dresses? Lots and lots of dresses. My mom's very particular of the vision she has for her big day. To be fair, the dresses she chose are stunningly beautiful and very symbolic of an age that has now passed. We have a week to go until the big day, and I'm so happy. Seth is away this week with friends for a conference, and I'm not sure what it is. He tried to tell me, but sometimes I feel really old and not really up to date with those kind of things. We have the final preparation to do, and then next week, we'll celebrate with the happy couple. I wanted to update briefly, as I've been asked if Olivia was sticking to her promise, or whether I was right to be suspicious that she was just planning something. I feel really bad for not trusting her, as I really think she's trying very hard to make up for the way she used to be. Maybe Aaron's actually a good influence on her. I hope so, as it's nice to feel as though I have my little girl back. We've hung out so much more these last few weeks, and I've enjoyed her company. I'll update again to let you know how the wedding goes, and I'll ask Olivia how you can see the happy day on her social media if anyone wants to join us. Thank you for your support. I feel so much better. Update number 4. I wrote the last update 2 days ago and I was on top of the world. I didn't think that anything could spoil how happy I was that my mother was getting married to a man who loved the very earth she walked on. This morning, Seth returned from his time away with friends, and I could tell the minute he walked into the door that something was wrong. I immediately thought that something had happened while he was away, but he's not unheard of that. People who like to spoil the enjoyment of others will hassle people like Seth at their anime conferences for doing cosplay, and I thought this is what must have happened. Oh boy, I was wrong. Olivia has lied and betrayed us all, and right now I'm so angry, I don't actually trust myself to confront her. I'm writing this in a cafe, knocking back some strong coffee and trying to work out what I'm going to do. I'm waiting for my husband to join me so I can show him what I now know. Seth is also coming in a short while as he's better with technology than we are. I've not spoken to my mom yet, but that's a conversation that will have to take place at some point. I'm boiling with anger at this moment, and I actually think I hate my own daughter. How's that possible? I birthed her, raised her, and loved her, and right now I honestly could not care less if I ever saw her face again. My heart's racing, but that might be the sheer amount of coffee I've drunk in the last hour. I'm ranting, and I think people in the cafe are wondering why the mad, middle-aged woman is typing like her life depends on it. My fingers are actually hurting right now from hitting the keys on my laptop. I think I need to take a deep breath and refocus on then, once I've spoken to my husband and Seth, I'll type up the whole story and see if I can work out what to do. Update number 5. Okay, so I've calmed down ever so slightly, but I'm still mad as a rabid badger. When James and Seth arrived, I asked Seth to tell his dad what he told me, and we made a decision of the best way to proceed after that. I'll type up what Seth told us and we'll try to be as true to the conversation as possible. I apologize for any ranting in between as I am a woman on the edge. On the last day that Seth was away, one of his friends had come across an account online which apparently belonged to Aaron and Olivia as a joint account. I have no idea what this account existed, and it was clear once Seth opened it for us that Olivia took great delight in having an account that her stupid family did not know existed. It was run under different names than Olivia and Aaron. They used their brand. That's why it never appeared. It was also ran with great secrecy, and it seems that they've had great appeal with many others, who also wanted to hide their lives from their family. The account was, to be frank, nasty and total distortion of who we were as a family. If you believed what they wrote about us, we were practically a family of demons, who went out of our way to try to just tear apart the family, and we wanted them to be unhappy. I was hurt to the core. All of this I could deal with, but what I could not deal with is what they did to my mother. Olivia's grandmother worshipped her and has always been her biggest supporter. Even when I lost my temper with Olivia, her grandmother would always have her back. I think that's what hurt me the most, as I knew this would break her grandmother's heart. The first video we watched was Olivia and Aaron, after their own engagement, going on about my mom's engagement to Frederick, and they were saying that old people should not be allowed to get married or have intimate relationships. It was complete with them both making fake gagging noises. Olivia made a big deal about how stupid we were given permission to document the wedding of the coffin dodgers, which is a cruel name for old people here, and she hoped her followers would enjoy as Olivia and Aaron showed them how awful this wedding was going to be. After that video, I'd asked Seth to stop for a moment before we looked at anything further, as I could not stop the tears from flowing down my face. How was I going to tell my mom this? It's hard to believe it could get any worse, but it did. From that first video, we had a whole set of updates on the preparation. There were friends of the dress shopping with Olivia doing commentary over the top of them about how vile the dresses were and making fun of the choices her grandmother made. I wish that was the worst part of the dress commentary. Somehow Olivia had managed to sneak the camera into the changing room, when my mom and I were changing, and there was videos of us in various stages of the undress, while Olivia talked about how old people's bodies were gross, and made her want to throw up, and wild dialogue between her and Aaron about whether we would still love her when she was old and wrinkly, and that she'd probably have surgery so she never looked as awful as we did. There was also videos of the cake testing with comments about how she hoped no one's fake teeth fell out. My mom does not have false teeth, by the way, and it just went on and on. Vile comments and laughter about us. Then I read all the comments and her followers were loving every moment of it. They were saying awful things about their own parents, and I could feel my anger getting worse finally. We came to the worst part. This was the part that Seth's friend had come across and realized that it was our family they were talking about. Thankfully, Seth's friends are good people and were horrified about this, as we were, and immediately told him. Olivia made a post about a week ago, and this was the one out there. I realized that my daughter needs to face the consequences for her actions. She'd crossed a line that I was not sure we could be able to come back from. I could see the anger in my husband's eyes, and he struggled to come to terms with the fact that the person who was trying to hurt us so badly was our own flesh and blood. Olivia and Aaron had asked their followers to come to the church for the wedding. They've put all the details for the whole wedding online. The address for the church, the time of the ceremony, the destination of the party, and the times for everything. Literally. She has said that this would be hilarious if all her followers showed up on a mass dressed as ancient people. She added pictures of the outfits and wigs she thought would be funny. She said that the whole thing would be filmed and everyone was encouraged to also film and put the prank on their own social media. She said she'd invited some really big influencers to join the party, and it would be an event that would go down in influencer history. She also asked that her followers make signs to hold a fake protest. The signs would say things like, "Old people are disgusting. Say no to wrinkly love. And the worst of all, the only time old people should be in church is a coffin." I was done. I could not look at any more, and I told Seth that I've seen enough. We now have to work out how we're going to tell my mom and Frederick what Olivia has planned and how we dealt with it. I'm at a loss, and what I don't want is for my anger to overwhelm me and make things even worse. Please, could you let me know what my best course of action is from this point? Anyone with experience of dealing with this kind of thing, and I really hope no one ever has been here, please could you reach out to us? As a family, we need help if we can get it. Update number 6, final update. Hey guys, I wish I had a happy ending for you. I wish I could come back with the final update and say that everything sorted itself out. That Olivia saw the error of her ways and stopped this nonsense before it got out of hand. But that's not what happened. Following our meeting at the cafe, we went to see my mother and tried to gently break the news to her. It turns out that my mom and Frederick don't want to be wrapped in a cotton wool. We stumbled upon the right words for a while before Mom finally got fed up and said, "For goodness sake, spit it out." So we did. We showed them everything. I saw the light die on my mom's eyes and my heart broke all over again. No one spoke for a long time and we all just sat there trying to process this whole thing. Finally, Frederick was the one who spoke and said very quietly, "I know she's family, but she has to learn this is not okay. I think I should speak to my lawyer." I was not sure we needed to be that drastic, but my mom and James both agreed with them. Olivia had not only broken her trust, but she had out personal photos and information of what the world could see. It turned out that Frederick's nephew/son, yeah, it's complicated, has a lawyer, and we agreed that Frederick would approach him. With that decided, we went home. Thankfully, Olivia was staying with Aaron for the weekend visiting his family as I did not feel ready to face her just yet. It turned out that I would not have the chance to speak to her or Aaron because things took a serious turn for both of them. Frederick contacted his nephew's son Richard, and he came to visit my mother and Frederick the next day. We were called back to, once again, over the details and showed them videos, photos, and social media accounts that Olivia and Aaron used. Richard watched them all and also pointed out some links that we've missed which went to the other blog post, with what more details you could imagine of our family and how much Olivia resented us. I don't think I'll ever understand where the hatred came from. It was then that he dropped the biggest bombshell of them all. Olivia had not only betrayed and hurt her family, but she'd also broken the law. Some of the videos from the dress fitting showed my mom and myself pretty much undressed, and they were done without our permission. She had given away personal details, address, phone numbers, and had incited a potential protest against my mother. And, well, Frederick, which was serious. Because of this, Richard told us we have to contact the police. I protested this because Olivia had done wrong, but this would absolutely ruin her life if she was arrested. We spent hours going around and around in circles, debating and arguing, and finally James looked at me and said that Olivia was tearing the family apart as we were now arguing amongst each other. She needs to learn that the actions do have consequences, so that's how we got our daughter and her fiancé arrested. I received a call later that day from Olivia, who was in a total panic, asking us to come to the police station to help her. I cried, and although it broke my heart, I had to stand strong and told her that unless she was prepared to accept that she was in the wrong, there was nothing we could do for her. She screamed and cursed us out. Anyways, in conclusion, Olivia and Aaron were charged with various crimes against us, and they had all their online activity investigated and shut down. They were also banned from ever running social media pages again. They were looking at jail time, serious jail time. But as a family, we came together and said that we don't want them to go to jail, but we would like them to have therapy for their need to treat people like objects and their own issues with themselves. They were both handed probation on the condition they attend therapy and stay away from us until they're ready to accept their responsibilities. They were also issued with fines to pay for the hurt and damage to us as a family. I saw Olivia once after the trial before she left to go to therapy. They had to do 3 months in a therapy center. She looked me in the eyes and told me I'd ruined her life and she hates me, all because I could not take a joke. She still did not see what she did wrong. I told her we would be here when she's ready to grow up and see the damage that she's caused. So, we moved the date of my mom and Frederick's wedding as there was a chance some of their fans would come to protest the case against Olivia and Aaron. The wedding was everything we hoped it would be, but there was a slight sadness that Olivia was missing. I don't know what the future holds for Olivia and our family, but please, if you are parents with kids who follow influencers or wannabe influencers, be on guard, as there's dangers out there, and I don't want any family to suffer the pain we have.
I'll be honest with you guys, I have no idea how the family can find it in themselves to forgive Olivia. She doesn't just seem like she's on the wrong path or something. She seems absolutely toxic and evil, just a bad person in general. Her entire content was preying off of people, especially her family, and making other people laugh at them. That's horrible stuff to coverage, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this story. If you were in OP's position, what would you do about this? I know this was a wild topic, but I want to know what you think. If you're new to the channel, hello, my name's Mr. Reddito. I read stories every single day of some dramatic stuff. If that's what you're into and you like inheritance dramas, mother-in-law dramas, bridezillas, you name it, am I the a-holes? We have it here. We have it covered. Smash the subscribe button. I hope to see you guys in tomorrow's video. Have an amazing day and I'll see you then.